I need to do a piece on Joel Webbon because it's insane how often he goes like pseudo viral. It's this weird radical Christian area where they're all kind of clout chasing weasels. But thus far, Joel Webbon has been one of the only people to understand how to play the clout game. And you can't, when you are a radical Christian conservative, you have to be really careful about putting your money where your mouth is. And I don't think he's ever done the groundwork to do the thing of like, well, this is the only thing we believe in. Everybody else is an apostate and everybody else is going to burn in hell like the NIFB does. And I think that's given him a little bit more freedom to like collab with people like James Fishbeck and people like Catholic, well-known tradcath Nick Fuentes. Anyway, this fucking clown shoes chuckle fuck Yahoo was talking about Trump being the Antichrist. I genuinely believe Trump is currently demon-possessed. And now this blasphemous idolatry. What on earth is going on with the president? I can only imagine that these people have not paid any attention to anything Trump has done in a decade. For 10 years, we have heard all of the same things that Trump is doing now as being positives, as being the reasons why they were drawn to him. That he didn't care about respectability politics, that he was rude, that he, pushed the line, that he wasn't like a regular politician, that he's going to run everything like a business, and that he knows smart people who can help him run shit. And weirdly enough, that this grifter, fucking pedophile, rapist piece of shit has now gotten us into multiple wars, completely unnecessary acts of aggression, doesn't have any plans for any kind of foreign policy, so we're just spending billions of dollars engaged in international acts of aggression that can't even, like the CIA can't even fucking pretend that it's doing any good, that we're like, oh yes, but we get cheaper bananas now. Like they can't run the playbook they had back in the last couple decades because Trump is just fucking unhinged. Like that's it. He only sees things in zero-sum terms of how much he believes it will get him some kind of accolade or attention. But if you've gone through 10 years of supporting that, you straight up, I'm all for people learning. I'm all for people learning and growing and changing their opinions. And like, it's something I've been really fascinated by with regards to Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I do think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a much more genuine actor and a much more genuine person. As horrible of a person as she is, she doesn't have a guile the same way people like Alex Jones, the same way certainly people like, Michael Knowles and Tucker Carlson have. But she is really the only person I've seen, not just being like, well, this is too far, but you'll note in her statements that she is constantly saying like, I can't fucking believe it was this long. I can't believe I supported this. I regret supporting this. I can't believe I gave so much to this person. That is the baseline examination that people need to even just pretending to do, is normalizing the idea of that kind of introspection. But yeah, good stuff. I want to hear more about how Trump is Donald Trump the Antichrist. Let's go.
In the name of gain and profit for one's nation and village.
Hey, what? Hey. What the fuck is that from? Is that fucking Naruto, dog? I know that voice. Is that like a older Gaara? Because I never watched Shippuden.
I was his enemy, yet still he cried for me. And he called me his friend, even though we had battled.
What the fuck? I'm losing my goddamn mind. What the fuck is this? Lord of the Rings, Naruto, for this 45-year-old dude talking about... That's Grimoire Vice's voice. Fucking thank you. J.M. Polsner, that's what I was like. There's something in the way his voice, like, it crisps at the end that I was like, why the fuck do I know? like just a condescending jackass of a voice I'm expecting. Like, that's the thing that's not lining up for me, is just that floating book being like, well, oh. Ugh.
Donald Trump has
And you have that hype ass Naruto, the Patriot, fucking Crusaders, fucking Lord of the Rings. You have that hype ass intro, and then we open on this like silly worm looking motherfucker. Crazy.
He's done some good things, and so a lot of people, a lot of conservatives are inclined to defend him and overlook some of his narcissism from the past. But it was there, and it's undeniable. But this is a bit different, right? It's one thing to post from Truth Social or Twitter back in the day, pictures of you, the president, Donald Trump, with Jesus standing over your shoulders, smiling, you know, like you're the divinely chosen instrument in the hands of God to fix the country. But this post, it's already been deleted just as a few minutes ago, this morning. It's Monday morning now, but on Sunday, the Lord's Day, the day that Christians go to church, it was posted. I believe it also yesterday was Eastern Orthodox Easter. So the Orthodox Easter. And Trump posts, not a picture of Jesus standing behind him benevolently or helping him or something like that, but a post of...
It's so telling. Again, it's just, you people don't actually believe this shit. You're so fucking inconsistent that you don't see the problem. You can hand wave away like, oh, Trump, he's just, he's posting a video about being God's chosen weapon as an elected leader. Trump is just posting about having the dictate of the sun god again. No big deal. Like, you're willing to hand wave away the previous incongruences and then be like, but this is going too far. It's like, nah, dog, like this, you let it get to this point. Everything Trump does that oversteps some line or norm, he does with the tacit knowledge that he can get away with it or at least back out of it if it gets too risky. And everybody from Trump's own party to MAGA to America First to the fucking Democrats to the people on Capitol Hill, everybody who is not punished at every turn, these incongruences, has enabled this. Like, people need to understand that. He is fully working within the system that he has been given. People want to be like, well, this isn't America. This isn't our... No, this is America. He's just the only one playing with all the rules on the fucking table. Everybody else is like, well, you can't do that. That's cheating. And he'll be like, well, actually, it's not cheating if nobody calls it cheating. If nobody calls you out on it, it turns out you can kind of just do whatever, and they'll just let you do whatever. It turns out nobody... No, what, is somebody going to stop me? Is it... Democrats, are you going to stop me? No? Okay, I thought so. MAGA Republicans, are you going to stop me? No? Okay, never Trumpers, are you going to stop me? No? Okay, Israel, are you going to stop me? You might. I won't cross you guys. But everybody else, who's going to stop me? Nobody. I think people are finally understanding, or at least waking up to the idea that it is not just limited to Trump. Awesome 406. He's fairy tale bad guy maxing like mean guy who steals all the pies in town. That's fucking funny. Of
Trump himself as a messianic figure, as though he is Christ, and this is posted by his, probably one of his staffers, but regardless, it's from his
probably just
social account. This was posted on Sunday. I'm going to show you the image. There it is. Yes, it's blasphemy. This is blasphemous. Trump looking like Jesus, healing some Jeffrey Epstein looking dude. You'll notice that one of them in the middle, it's like they were trying to go for this cross between a fallen soldier / angel / Statue of Liberty, but it turned out pretty bad. It actually turned out to be a known demonic figure that has several implications. It's not the Statue of Liberty. I think that's probably an accident. We can give the benefit of the doubt, but it's not.
Again, it's such inconsistency. It blows my fucking mind. You're sitting here being like, well, Donald Trump is demon possessed, but the fact that the AI made something that looks like a demon, which it just looks like a fucking blob. The AI made something that looks like a demon, but I'm gonna give President Trump, who may be demon possessed, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I very seriously believe all this stuff. Also, I think that drag queens are also secretly demons. It's like fucking. Like, come on, dude. Come on, man.
again and again and again, is Trump the Antichrist? Is Trump the Antichrist? And so I want to give you guys a little bit of doctrine in regards to the Antichrist, because there's actually some stuff about the Antichrist that a lot of Christians do not know. And so we're going to be here in the second half of our live stream today. We're going to be talking about the Antichrist and that doctrine, how it's formulated from Daniel chapter 9. Matthew chapter 24, as well as the book of Revelation. Not Revelations, but Revelation, okay? That's how you know right now. I'll tell you, a lot of people are going to be posting about the Antichrist. If you see a podcast and he says, let me talk to you about the book of Revelations, and he puts an S on the end, makes it plural, feel free to turn off that podcast.
Because somebody mispronounced. Yeah, okay. Again, love the depth of biblical scholarship where they're like, yeah, we're going to take these books written hundreds of years apart from one another that had nothing to do with each other in subject matter, and we're going to tie them together, and because it's all the same book. It's all the same book, even though it wasn't written by the same people, and even though it was written hundreds of years apart, and lots of it was taken out, passed down, edited, altered over time, and words probably don't mean all the same things, and it's the subject of hundreds, if not thousands of years of biblical scholarship and arguing over these interpretations. But this dude, Joel Webbin, has the exact answers.
In one place, and that's what I'm going to break down first. Right now, without any further ado, Antichrist, as a term, only appears in 1 John. I'm going to show you two different portions of Scripture, 1 John chapter 2 and 1 John chapter 4, and see if it lines up with Donald J. Trump. So I'm going to do that in just a moment. Second half of the episode, we'll look at Daniel chapter 9, Matthew 24, and Revelation, and we'll talk about the concept of an Antichrist and where that doctrine kind of formulated predominantly from dispensational, premillennial evangelicals. All right, and so we're going to be doing...
is this one of my favorite things about this brand of preacher is the weird obsessions they have with, like, they have specific regional beefs, you know, like almost like rappers, you know. You'll hear them talk about certain preachers and you'll be like, who the fuck is this guy? And you look it up and it's some doughy Pillsbury white dude in the fucking Midwest who just disagrees with them that gay people shouldn't be killed, and they'll call him a heathen heretic who deserves to burn, and he's whatever. The NFB, for example, one of their very specific hangups is over Calvinists. Something I need you to understand. Nobody has given a shit about the opinion of Calvinists in over 150 years. Nobody gives a fuck about Calvinism. They do. For people like Steven Anderson, it's a big goddamn deal, apparently. So it's always funny when people come up with the very hyper-specific, like, strains of evangelicals, or... It's like, at the beginning of Machiavelli, also known as Tupac, bomb first. Or no, bomb second, my first response? Bomb first, my second response. The intro clip of Machiavelli's first album, or main album, talks about Mobb Deep. It talks about Nas. It talks about Biggie and everybody who was on the kind of East Coast that Tupac was beefing with at the time. And that's how it feels if you don't know a rap beef. That's how it feels listening to a lot of this shit all the time.
That in the second half of the live stream today. Let's start where the word Antichrist actually shows up in the Bible, the only place that it shows up, in the book of 1 John, okay? Chapter 2 and chapter 4. We'll start with chapter 2. This is 1 John chapter 2, verses, we're going to be looking at verse 18, and then skipping forward to verse 22 and 23. So 3 verses here. 1 John chapter 2, verse 18, verse 22, and 23. This is what the Bible said. But test the spirits to see whether they are from God. For many false prophets... It's not exactly the term Antichrist, but we're going to get there. Many false prophets have gone out into the world. Many, not just one, but many. Benny Hinn, Kenneth Copeland, John Hagee, Paula White, right? But it's not just one, to be fair. But they are evil, wicked, demonic, false prophets. They are wolves in...
It's absolutely not fucking jealousy. That's funny. Again, what'd I say? Calling people out by name. Fuck Mobb Deep. If you down with Bad Boy Records, then fuck you too. Chino XL, fuck you too.
Sheep's clothing. Paula White is not a pastor. She is a wolf. She hates the Lord Jesus Christ. She hates the truth of Scripture, and she is leading millions of people to hell, including the President of these United States. She is a false prophet. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses not just that Jesus Christ is God's Son, but that he has, past tense, he has already come in the flesh. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is a trustworthy spirit from God.
Oh, hey, Jesus ain't the only one that likes to come in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Up high. Come on now. Come on, Joel. I know. Come on, buddy. Come on.
denies that Jesus has not come, not a future Messiah that we're still waiting for, but that Jesus is the Messiah and that he is past tense.
I'm wondering if all of this is just a pedantic way to get around being like, well, no, Trump's not the Antichrist, all because Trump has actually said that Jesus is his. And I'm so excited to get to if he's going to be like, yeah, well, Trump is the Antichrist, and you can tell by the way he's acting, or if he's going to be trying to be like, well, he's now let's not be hasty. He's not the Antichrist, because if he's going to buy into all of this bullshit just to avoid taking a side. This is exactly what I was talking about, where you're seeing people kind of couch their criticisms of Trump in other shit so they don't have to fully either commit to being for or against him.
Which you heard was coming, future tense, and now is in the world already. So even at the time of John, the apostle, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, writing infallible scripture 2,000 years ago, even at that time, he's saying the Antichrist, that is a spirit.
All right, here we go. One of my favorite things to learn about is biblical scholarship. I've never done a piece on it because it's not something I've been able to like really dive into, particularly for these things. I've thought of doing a okay, what are the top what are the most cited arguments? Because there's that one Leviticus chapter. There's so many things that get cherry-picked constantly for reasons why they're against abortion, gay marriage, all that shit. But when you look into the scholarship behind it, there's not a lot of a historical basis, or if there is, it's hotly disputed. And there's a lot of things in the Bible that are like that. I find that shit fascinating. So I always like to. You're getting a little look into my personal approach. I always like to go in and just kind of see what's up, what happened there. Because if you want to say that the Bible is the infallible word of God, that's fine. But the fact remains that it did not travel straight from God's mouth to your ears. There has been a lot of detours on the fucking way there. The Cambridge Companion New Testament, the gospel identifies an unnamed disciple whom Jesus loved as its source and perhaps author. So, okay. 20th century scholarship interpreted the gospel within the paradigm of a Johannine community, but this has been increasingly challenged in the 21st century, and the gospel's historical context remains debated. Most scholars treat the gospel and the Johannine epistles, along with the book of Revelation, as a single corpus of Johannine literature, albeit not by the same author. Traditionally thought to be the author of the other two epistles of John and the Gospel of John, though this is disputed. Most modern scholars believe this is not John the Apostle, but in general there's no consensus. The latter's acknowledgement and rejection of Gnostic theology may reveal a later date of authorship than Orthodox Christianity claims. This cannot be assured by a simple study of the context. Gnosticism beginning and its relationship to Christianity are poorly dated due to an insufficient corpus of literature relating the first interactions between the two religions. It vehemently condemns such anti-corporeal attitudes, which also indicates that those taking such unorthodox positions were either sufficiently vocal, persuasive, or numerous enough to warrant rebuttal in this form. Adherents of Gnosticism were most numerous during the 2nd and 3rd centuries. See, I know everybody else probably finds this boring as shit, but I could honestly dig into rabbit holes like this all fucking day. Because when you go down stuff like this, especially if you get into any kind of Middle Eastern, European history, it just keeps fucking going. I could be here literally all night. Authorship. Widely contested. Scholars have debated the authorship of Johannine literature since at least the 3rd century. I like how it wasn't even 100 years before they were like, wait, who the fuck wrote this? John? Which one? A summary of the proposed candidates. So here's who could have written it, and they want to be like, by the way, this deep dive was all in service of being like, but there's no way to know for sure that this was divinely inspired, let alone who the fuck it was actually, like, who was writing it. That was that whole little what the fuck's the word I'm looking for? Detour. God, not diversion.
A collective ethos that embodies the Antichrist, the spirit of the Antichrist, is not something that we're waiting for 2,000 years later at some future time, but has already entered into the world and possessed many individual people, so that many have been false prophets and many have been plural, not singular, plural, Antichrist. Many Antichrists have already at John's time come out into the world, all embodying the one collective spirit of the Antichrist. And what is the specific defining qualities, characteristics of that one spirit of the Antichrist?
Have
it
a good
denies
one,
Jesus
real
Christ is the
NIFP
Son of
parody.
God, but even more specifically, it denies that Jesus Christ has past tense, not just we're still waiting for a Messiah, future Messiah, but that he has already come into the world and taken on flesh. That the Son of God has come into the world, the incarnation, and taken on flesh. Any spirit that meets that criteria is the spirit of the Antichrist, and that spirit, collective spirit of the Antichrist, can possess many, not just one, but many individual people. And there were individual people who possessed that spirit of the Antichrist at the time of John, and for these past 2,000 years, since then, there have been many more, and there are many still to this day. Now, I'm going to make one final point. Here's the deal. Do I think that Donald J. Trump is the Antichrist? No.
There we go. There we go, chat.
Do I think that he is an Antichrist? Many Antichrists have gone out into the world. Maybe. But even then, probably not. And here's why. Because he's not bad, because he's not blasphemous, because he's... No. He's blasphemous, he's a narcissist, he's arrogant, and in his second administration, he is doing a terrible job. Okay, that said, the Bible is specific. You don't get to generalize and just make it whatever you want it to be. And the only book of the Bible, namely 1 John, that actually uses the term Antichrist, and plural, Antichrist, defines what the spirit of the Antichrist is. And if we're going to go with...
So because, and mind you, he is saying that this is for sure the 100% rubric, and we just read a entire series of articles talking about how nobody, it could be like one of 12 dudes who wrote that shit. Nobody knows for sure. It's probably not the same person. So the idea that it is the divinely inspired, 100% written down, this is how you know this is the Antichrist. And because Trump doesn't fit that, well, I guess he must not be. The hoops these motherfuckers jump through, it never ceases to amaze me.
The Bible's clear, specific definition of the Antichrist, or the spirit of the Antichrist, that can possess many individual people, men and women alike, and did at the time of John, and still does today in our time as well. The specific criteria for an Antichrist spirit is someone who denies that Jesus has come in the flesh. There are many people today who deny that Jesus has come in the flesh, and that he is the Son of God, and who are...
He's gonna... I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, dude, if he's going where I think he's going. If he's going to try and turn this into, this is about triple parentheses them, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Deceiving and teaching others that Jesus has not come in the flesh, that he's not the Son of God. But there's not a whole lot of countries, entire nations, that are literally founded on an Antichrist spirit. Right? Brazil is not founded on a rejection of Jesus Christ coming, past tense,
hang on,
awaiting
chat.
a future Messiah,
Hey,
but
chat.
past tense that Jesus
Wait
is the Son
for
of
it,
God,
wait for it, wait for
already
it.
come into the world in the flesh. That wouldn't characterize Brazil. That wouldn't characterize America, or England, or Spain, or France, or Canada. It really only characterizes one country. There's only one country that at a national level has embraced as a foundational principle the rejection
Come on.
of the fact that Jesus is the Son of God.
I can hear the fucking parentheses from here. I can hear him from here.
And that's Israel.
He fucking said, let's go, chat. Let's go. I don't fucking miss. You knew it was coming. Called that shit a fucking 1,000 miles off. I would say I impressed myself, but it's honestly not that. Like, of course, look at this guy. Of course he's going to be racist. Magar, thank you for $5. I'm not sure there's a functional difference to most of us between the actual Antichrist and a guy who tries so desperately to be him. Yeah, that's the thing is that, like, Antichrist as a colloquialism, I think, is a more valuable descriptor than this. Because the thing about the mark of the beast, the revelation, the going by what the Bible says, and particularly when you're looking at Revelation and all of the insane shit that John put in there, you're looking at it through this contorted lens where you're already using confirmation bias, essentially. You already believe in God and believe in the Bible enough to go and be like, okay, there is for sure an Antichrist. So then this is what it specifically is going to look like. But it's like Nostradamus. It's like, in a lot of ways, it's like astrology, where it is giving you these incredibly broad things that you can then contort and twist and bend to fit onto basically whatever you want. And you see that a lot with conspiracy theories around, quote unquote, the mark of the beast. And they've kind of stopped doing it now as tech bros have become more openly fascistic, more oligarchical, where it used to be any kind of technological development and this was particularly big during the 80s, during the 90s, where you still had televangelists and you still had a much bigger contingent of evangelical Christianity was on these like airwaves before, the internet really blew up. You had a lot of people that would spread these conspiracy theories about the mark of the beast. And this is the perfect example because it's a kaleidoscope. It's a fractal that you can fit fucking anything into and twist it and be like, yes, see, this is proof positive that this is what the mark of the beast is. It's the mark of the beast, wrote one regular Wired commenter in response to our Joe Woodland tribute, pointing readers to the 16th verse of the 13th chapter of the book of Revelation. Quote, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you see, again, you can fit that into so many different new technologies. That could describe fucking Apple Pay. That could describe when biohackers were, having Time articles written about how they're, changing their whatever the fuck by putting magnets in their skin. That could describe public ID issues that Trump fucking wants. Like, it's the thing that tells me again that you're not serious. You're not about this shit and actually applying it to everything, or at least exhibiting caution that if you believe this is a true thing, that it could be this shit, is that they never seem to entertain, at least until now, that this is the shit that Trump is doing. That these are broadly just things that we have looked at and seen as societal trends for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that we've been able to identify that, hey, if somebody gets in power and they force and subjugate everybody to do things their way, that's not a great thing. And they can't just make that connection from something written during the Roman fucking Empire. Yeah, gee, I wonder why something written during the Roman Empire would thematically touch on, like, whatever. They can't make that connection to their modern support for Trump. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Are there, plural, many antichrists that have already gone out into the world? Yes. Has Donald Trump, who is not the Antichrist, has he, in his narcissism, because of being flattered and just appointing and exalting everyone who tells him what he wants to hear, has Donald Trump, who is not the Antichrist, surrounded himself by many Antichrists, by many Zionists, by many Jews, by many individuals, by Laura Loomer, by Mark Levin, by Lindsey Graham? Like, has Donald Trump replaced all of the Christians that have supported him historically and given precedence to Jared Kushner and all these individuals?
Okay. Actual Christian Deus Vult nationalists like Pete Hegseth, like Stephen fucking Miller, are still ultimately calling the shots. The idea that he's like, oh yeah, no, they've turned us over to Jared Kushner. It's like, no, just anything. What's that people? What's that thing Jesus says about the stick in your eye and the length of wood in yours, or whatever the fuck? Seems appropriate.
As Donald Trump and Susie Wiles, because we actually have guys who we know inside the Trump administration who can vouch for this. Susie Wiles has basically banned for months now.
I love that. We have guys inside. He's doing the Alex Jones thing. He probably is a fucking Twitter mutual with a like a staffer of some kind, and he's like, no, we've got the connects, we've got the hookups.
From like a 200-foot radius from the Oval Office, speaking to Donald Trump, unless they are pro-Israel and a radical Zionist. So Trump has been isolated. Did you ever watch The Truman Show? Jim Carrey? And
why Truman Show is such a fascinating cultural touchstone for so many dorks like this. Alex Jones brings it up a lot too. And I think it's just I think it's the same reason that The Matrix, for them, it is this idea of a synthetic reality, but they cannot apply that in a Baudrillardian sense to any other examination of their life. It can only be in the most simple way of like, oh, it has to be this large, grand conspiracy. And I think it also because a lot of those stories focus on like a central main character who wakes up and sees the secrets for themselves, and that allows them to like impress upon themselves that, yeah, oh, I'm just like Neo. They Live, yeah, Storm Corbett, They Live is another fucking one that's like, dude, if you are one of these dickheads out here being like, no, yeah, They Live is pro conservative and it's anti-liberal, anti-New World Order, probably. It's like, dog, in They Live, a explicitly conservative government organization targets people and the excuse they use to go in and murder dissidents, people who are forming a resistance, is that they're communists. If you watch the John Carpenter film, They Live, you can go watch it right now. The government literally false flags dissidents by calling them communists to foment public rage against them. Beat for beat, bar for bar, like the Trump playbook. For that matter, the liberal Biden playbook, by the way.
But everything is syndicated. Everything is fabricated, manipulated, right? There's a whole, massive TV crew, and he lives in a literal bubble. That's Trump.
Again, on one hand, how you can say that, oh yeah, no, this is our guy, and he's leading the free world, and I voted for him knowing that he was going to be a big boy and put on big boy pants and do all this stuff. But then you're trying to argue that he is also apparently intellectually a child, that he is unable to parse reality outside his walls, which I would agree with. But just because he's always been a fucking moron, that hasn't changed. That's not a new development. And it's on you for not knowing or recognizing that, or at the very least for now trying to use it as an excuse to wiggle out of accountability for advocating for all this shit for so long until it went the way that you just didn't want.
And there's a lot of different speculation for how it happened. Nobody knows for sure. It either happened because he's simply so arrogant that Zionists were just able to flatter him, and then he gave them precedence, and then they boxed out everybody else. So it could be just pride. It could be his age, dementia. So it could be that he's blackmailed and that Israel, Mossad, has dirt on him. It could be that maybe, he's in the Epstein files, as many people are, but it's innocuous, and he didn't actually do anything illegal. He's just...
Hold on. Did I hear that right? Did I hear that right, chat? Did I hear innocuous? Like he was trying to say innocuous, but said inoculation instead?
It could be that maybe, he's in the Epstein files, as many people are, but it's innocuous, and he didn't actually do anything illegal.
Yep, he did say innocuous. Yep, the cynics too, you got that. Innocuous, great. It makes me so happy when well, I can't be too hard, because look, I've misspoken too. But it does make me so happy when dipshits who very obviously pride themselves on sounding so smart and sophisticated, so to speak, trip over their words.
He's just named in them, and Elon just lost his temper and got mad. But it could be that Mossad is like, well, we can't blackmail you necessarily, but we'll kill your family. It could be that. That's a real possibility. So it could be either threats against his family. It could be blackmail.
Mossad says we'll kill your family to the press. Like, how do it's still a fucking game to these people. It's a fucking LARP. It always is. This isn't any different than the QAnon shit. This isn't any different than just being like, well, and actually Hillary and Huma Abedin, they're being scheduled for execution, and secretly Trump has enacted the plan that's going to stop the New World Order. Like, it's all the same fucking bullshit. Where you're just like, well, actually, like, you cannot just take the easiest to believe out. The fucking off-ramp is right there. That Trump is a pedophile, or at the very least, defends a network or a group of people who preyed on people that he was familiar with, that he was intimate with in some form or another. That Trump is a craven ghoul profiteering off of the misery of untold others. That Trump doesn't give a fuck about any of the faux populist politics that he lied to his own voters' fucking faces about. That everybody said he would lie to his own voters' fucking faces about. Trump doesn't care how many civilians are going to die in the streets protesting ICE. Trump doesn't care how many of you get your fucking power shut off during rolling blackouts. Trump doesn't care how many fucking species go extinct because they're writing out any EPA protections for forested lands. We just covered that the other day. And he has never cared. None of this is fucking new. That's the thing that is so fucking frustrating. While he has deteriorated mentally, his focus is certainly worse. This is all the same shit he was doing in his first presidency. This is all the same shit that people like Russ Vought, people behind the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 were promising to do. This is not new. And the fact that you can look at it and be like, well, I don't know about this, and then try to speculate and sit there and fucking play with your action figures and be like, well, maybe actually, I'm going to say something as controversial as it is brave. I need you to hold space for me. I don't think it's an accident that so many of the same people who so fervently believe in the end of the world, who so fervently believe that Jesus is going to come back in the mark of the beast and all of these weird things that they cross over with conspiracy theories, I don't think it's an accident that the most fervent, unhinged nationalists in the Christian faction of American evangelicalism and American tradcaths, I don't think it's an accident. I don't think it's a mistake that they're all fucking unhinged and live in a fake fucking fantasy world. There are too many examples of all those things overlapping. I cannot think of a greater threat to the American psyche, to the healthy mental balance and perception of reality. I cannot think of a greater threat than nationalistic Christianity. It literally rots people's fucking brains in a fake, entirely constructed world far more than anybody else. And it's just like this. It's fucking action figures of angels and devils and demons where everybody, why is this person acting this way? Are they possessed by a demon? No! They're just an evil fucking person. You don't need all of this shit when you have the facts right in front of you, and they're all pointing to the same conclusion, that Donald Trump is an evil bastard.
Say he's demon possessed, then you're still just saying the devil made me do it. You're absolving Trump. I'm not absolving Trump. They could be threatening to kill his family.
You are.
He could be blackmailed because he actually is in the Epstein files, and it's not benign. It's bad. Or he could have dementia. Those are three things that are kind of beyond him. But Ockman's razor, the simplest explanation, is usually the...
What did he say? Ockman's razor? Ockman's razor? Hang on. Everybody, hey, chat, shut up for a second. I need to listen to this.
He could be blackmailed because he actually is in the Epstein files, and it's not benign. It's bad. Or he could have dementia. Those are three things that are kind of beyond him. But Ockman's razor, the simplest...
Ockman... So there's this thing that happens. This doesn't happen when people read books, by the way. Because when you read books, you get a word, right? Like if it's a fake word. This is why so many people or so many kids grew up saying, and I hate to fucking reference J.K. Rowling, but this is a good touchstone for it. This is why so many kids grew up saying Hermione instead of Hermione, because it was a name in a book, and if you sound it out phonetically, a lot of kids will go, Hermione, they'll sound it out, and that's what they go with, right? That's why people say that. It's not because that's how you actually say it. It's because they read it. They didn't hear it somewhere. This kind of thing is what happens when you get all of your ideas and all of your knowledge, all your discussion of philosophy from Joe Rogan or adjacent podcasts, where meatheads slurring their words through doses of growth hormone that would kill most horses will talk about things that they vaguely remember from other meatheads telling you about, like, yeah, man, you gotta read Sun Tzu, and there's this thing, on the internet, it's crazy, there's this thing called Ockman's razor. And they half hear it. They half hear it, half remember it, and over time it gets repeated, but they don't actually understand what it is. They never look into it, they never see where it's from, who Occam is, what it actually refers to. And that's how you get people being like, Ockman's razor, if you're wondering.
And now, because the full proximity around Trump, surrounding him, is your Mark Levins and your Laura Loomers, they've syndicated a reality for him to where he doesn't...
No, you are infantilizing this old, disgusting rapist. Do you see this as a person with his own internal agency who is able to cogitate the world around him, that is able to make his own choices? Because the way that they are describing him, to try and give him this grace and be like, well, maybe this is what happened. Why is he acting this way? The way that you are describing him, if any of this is true, then at least you need to be honest and fucking regard him as mentally incompetent to be a fucking president. Because apparently, he is as easily led as a cartoon character can be with a fucking steaming hot pie. Like, apparently, Trump is such a dullard that Israel just had to put a fucking pie on an Iranian windowsill to get him to start bombing. Like, that's the level of nonsense cartoonishness you're describing here. Without being able to just say, he's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking moron. He is a cruel, callous, uncaring, unfeeling, selfish dipshit, and he always has been. He hasn't made any claims to attack yet, but he is. Like he is not making any assertions outside of, because again, he is not making any assertions because that's the way that he, and to his audience, he is just making content that is not taking a side on this, essentially. So that people can come and watch his video and they can walk away being like, well, yeah, even, I don't agree with this, but maybe he's this and that. He is watching stuff that won't raise too much ire, but may start a fight in the comment section, may get more engagement. He's engagement farming. I understand that. But through the ways he is framing this issue, he is still asserting things, even if not directly. He is still framing it as though Trump is just a helpless, he is at once this powerful leader, and he's so smart, and he's so headstrong, and our America first, and all this stuff. But at the same time, he is also a little babby, and cannot be held accountable. It's actually, you see, it's the Jews around him that are, they're controlling his mind with their Laura Loomer's controlling Trump with her fiendish Laura Loomer magic. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dog?
Even know up or down or right or left. He's being lied to, thinks that he's really popular, and that all the decisions he's making are really great when they're really not. So, Trump is the Antichrist. This is first half of the show. Then we're going to get to Daniel chapter 9, Matthew 24, and Revelation. But first half of the show is this. The only explicit mention using that term Antichrist in the Bible is 1 John chapter 2 and chapter 4. And big key takeaways is this. Number one, Antichrist is not just a singular person, but it's a collective spirit. And it's specifically defined as a rejection that Christ is the Son of God and that he has already, past tense, come in the flesh, the incarnation. And the next big idea is that this spirit can embody many individuals, many antichrists, plural, have gone out into the world. To a lower degree, the spirit of the Antichrist does actually embody all unbelievers, because all unbelievers reject that Jesus is the Son of God and that he's come in the flesh. But at a higher level,
product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. All right, I'm going to keep this simple. Look, I know that you know that I know that you know you're using nicotine. Half of the people listening to the show, you're using some kind of nicotine product.
What the fuck is this, dude? This is embarrassing,
I know
dog.
this. I'm asking you to start that you're not already spending. Look, a first company. Right there on the cover, you have a foot crushing the head of the serpent. It's not subtle. These guys are based. They're Christian. They're America.
Buy my fucking based Christian nicotine? Like, they're talking about it like it's one of those like it's a fucking, like it's one of those fruit snacks that come out to tie into like a Marvel movie or some shit. They're talking about it like it's a Lunchable with Scooby-Doo on it. And like they're going, yeah, it's actually, my nicotine's actually pretty. Like, what are you gonna do with Christian nationalist nicotine? Are you gonna show it to your fucking coworkers? Be like, yeah, it's like, they're gonna be like, yeah, cool, dude. Yeah, no, it's actually based because check it out. That's the foot of Christ crushing the serpent's head. That's awesome, Kyle. Cool. Yeah. Whatever you do, don't invite him to the cookout. Don't invite him to the barbecue. No, dude. He every time you can't talk to him about anything. Like he'll just start talking about them, and nobody knows who them is. Don't invite Kyle to anything.